Hello, viewer, and thank you for stopping by. I'd like to ask you a couple questions. Do you know anyone, friends or family, that has been sentenced to an excessive amount of time? If so, wouldn't you like to be able to see that person or persons have the opportunity to be paroled under the pretense that they are doing all that they can to better themselves while being incarcerated? If you don't know anyone, permit me a moment of your time to introduce you to some great friends of mine. As of right now, regardless of good behavior and proper prison programming, Washington State has no rehabilitation system. In other words, there's nothing put in place that would allow us to say to ourselves that if I do better, maybe they would give me a second chance. My name is Anthony Covert, and I'm one of those individuals who has been sentenced to a substantial amount of time. I have good news though. There's an organization called the WA Coalition for Parole. This is a group of people from the community who are working to help reinstate the parole system for the Washington State. The purpose of this video is to help inform the community of the men behind these prison walls who have been effectively rehabilitating within. Yet due to the time structures they were sentenced, they will still be serving an outlandish sentence. These men are fathers, sons, brothers, uncles, nephews, and most important, men who are hoping to be offered a second chance to live productive lives in our society. This video is not to defer the seriousness of their mistakes, myself included, but to show that regardless of circumstances, change can and has been made. We take and accept full responsibility of our actions because our faults do not define us. So today I have compiled a video of some men that I come to know personally that are taking the necessary steps to improve the person they once were, and into someone society can receive. Some are co-workers, Toastmaster Club members, and individuals who can be looked upon as positive role models. Most of all, these are good men who, for whatever reason, made poor decisions which landed them in the situation they now reside. At what cost must these men continue to pay a price where they will either not be released until the twilight of their lives, if they get released at all? Each of these men's sentences can vary from 20 to life. So I'd like to provide you with the information which will allow you to gain a personal perspective of these individuals. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to hear how myself and other like men have reinvented ourselves for the betterment of society. I'm speaking on behalf of all incarcerated men that have shown and continue to show they deserve another chance at life. My name is Frank Evans III. I'm a 31-year-old black man who was the first-time offender serving a 63-year sentence for a mistake made in 2007. Now in 2015, I tell myself a mistake gave me 63 years. Imagine what I can do on purpose to help change the next generation. The first thing I had to do was realize the root of my wrong decision making, then figure out if I was really ready to change. This process didn't come overnight. It took me 3 long years to completely change and leave my old habits in the past. You may ask, how did I know I had finally changed? I'll tell you how. It was when I stopped saying that I would do differently when I got out and started thinking of ways to show my change from inside of prison. The first was to get my GED, which was an accomplishment for myself and my father who never got his. When I called home and told my dad I got my GED, he sounded more excited than I was. Hearing how proud my family was about me getting my GED assured me I was making a positive change. So I then took a class or a program offered here at WSP called Redemption X. Taking the Redemption X class put all my negative attributes into perspective for me. In all, it helped me change my thought process. In turn, I now have a better outlook on life. With my new outlook on life, I have found a hidden talent I would have never guessed I possessed. This talent is writing. My first book, which is going to be my biography titled Successor of My Surroundings, will be available on Amazon in December 2015. There will also be a self-help book along with a few fictional books coming in the near future. This is just the beginning for me. Change is a process that you have to constantly work on. Remember, nobody is perfect and we all make mistakes. Making mistakes is part of living and we all live. Thank you for hearing my testimony. Frank Evans, DOC number 322358. Hello, my name is Wendell Adams Jr. I'm a 29-year-old black male from Seattle, Washington. I'm currently incarcerated for assault in the first degree. The shooting took place in my residence. My childhood was not that great, but as children we bump our heads along the way and things happen that turns our life in a different direction. And unfortunately, that's what happened to me. But please allow me to say that it was not my past that I blame, but my poor decision making that landed me in prison. I take full responsibility of my actions, and with that being said, I have been making the necessary changes to become a better individual since incarcerated for this crime. Before I came to prison, I was a fitness trainer. I owned my own home-based business through Advocare. I was on my way to launching Body by Wendell's Fitness online to serve the people who could not find time for the gym. I am a father of two, and I was, and still am, actively involved in my sons' lives. Since my incarceration, I have taken programs like Inside Out Dads and bookkeeping. The reason for taking these courses is because I want to still be a good dad to my children, and by being in their life through this incarceration will allow us to still build our bond, and time is what kids will remember the most. Bookkeeping interests me because it allows me to continue my aspiration to becoming an entrepreneur upon my release, and teaches me the skills I will need to excel as being a business owner. I have managed a positive programming regimen. I have and used great communication skills with the staff as well as my peers. I am heavily involved in the health and fitness field with the prison. I have a passion for fitness and in the health and fitness field within the prison. Have goals of dreams of returning back to the fitness field upon my release. I have been accepted to attend the yoga program at Stafford Creek to become a certified yoga instructor. I will be transferring to Stafford Creek in 2 weeks to complete the course and return back to WSP to implement it here also. As I close, I would like to thank the WA Coalition for hearing me out and allowing for all of us to have a possibility at going back to society sooner than later. And the chance that you provide us, we will make sure to utilize it to our full potential. Rehabilitation starts from within, and this is the first step to regaining what matters to all: freedom, justice, and equality. My name is Juan Jose Recinos. I am not a DLC number. I am a loving father of 4 children with enormous support from family and friends who await my release back to my community. Before making the biggest mistake of my life that brought me to prison, I was an entrepreneur from 2001 to 2010. My biggest achievement besides being a real estate investor was starting my own mortgage company in 2007 during the collapse of the mortgage industry. Despite the challenges it brought, 3 years later, my business was still thriving as I never gave up. Since I've been under DLC custody, I've taken advantage of classes, rehabilitation opportunities, and college certificates that DLC has provided. I take pride in finishing my graphic design program, which took almost 2 years. I am currently a TA for graphic design 6 hours a day. As I help others learn, I am mastering my own skills that will help me fulfill my dreams of owning my own business again. Except this time I will start a business that will employ and help inmates who are like-minded succeed and change their lives and once more become a part of our community. Meanwhile, I dream and pray that legislators will see the need for parole so I can apply and get a second chance at life. Then I will stay out of prison for good and be there for my children, family, friends, and the community I have let down. My name is Antoine Davis. At the age of 21 years old, I was convicted of a crime and sentenced to 63 years in prison. My first time ever being incarcerated made it difficult and often left me emotionally drained. The physical separation from my family, wife, and only child can at times become an unbearable burden. However, though every moment I'm here is a challenge, I have learned to accept responsibility for my actions. And with every opportunity I receive, I've chosen to do what's needed to become a better person. In the middle of my storm, I've completed the wellness program, which is fitness classes, making it work, job ethics, Inside Out Dads, parenting classes, business math and accounting, which are college courses, and I'm halfway through an ITC computer tech class. I have also completed a competent communicator, competent leader, and advanced leader out of Toastmasters manuals, and I'm also president of the Toastmasters Club. I've been blessed to be employed at CI Box Production. However, my greatest blessing is attending the Urban Ministry Institute, which is a 4-year seminary course. Today, I'm 27 years old, and my heart's determination is to not only better myself, but to also help those around me become better as well. My name is V. Thang, and I'm 35 years old. I've been incarcerated since I was 17. I've made terrible choices that got me serving a sentence of life without parole for taking another life. The start of my time wasn't easy. It took several years to wake up and realize that I can't continue to make bad choices even if I might spend the rest of my life in prison. My decision wasn't just to make my family happy or to look good in my file, but it was for me personally. I created a dark hole in the universe when I committed my crime. I now take responsibility for it, and my choices now is one towards filling it. I might not feel it in this lifetime, but I can hope. While in prison, I'm educating myself by attending whatever school I'm allowed to take with my sentence structure. That in itself is a battle. Last year, I graduated from bookkeeping and graphic design. I've also tried to better myself through self-improvement programs like Toastmasters, Roots of Success, and Redemption. I don't believe people are incapable of change, even if it may seem unlikely in the beginning, but people do, and for them there should be some hope of release one day. So again, we're just the tip of the iceberg. There are many more with the same mind frame and possess the same quality of value. We are diligently working to improve the person we once were into someone who, first and foremost, is someone we can accept, but also someone that society can accept. We cannot, however, do it alone. We need you, the community, to help us by extending support to the Coalition for Parole. You can get involved by contacting them at wacoalitionforparole.org/supporters or at eepurl.com. They have the facts about reinstating parole for Washington state offenders as a whole. It's very precedent for both the offender population and their families, for they too suffer this incarceration. I have given examples of multiple men who are taking the proper steps to rehabilitate, and these men are only a few of a much larger group. They are achieving a multitude of accomplishments after receiving extensive sentences and with little hope. They drive on to improve. This shows the resilience in them to change for the better. Please get involved and help these men return to their loved ones and the society they once turned their backs on. Let those fathers and mothers hold